As I write this, academics throughout my country are on strike in protest over pay, working conditions and pensions. That's right, this week the only kind of marks these teachers will be giving out are...
You didn't put that Marx joke back in, did you?
No? If you watched my recent collaboration with Zoe B, you'll remember she mentioned her own academic career at one point providing less than minimum wage. And although her story took place in another country, it's important to remember that academic jobs aren't all inherently privilege or wealth bestowing. That, coupled with these current strikes, got me thinking about labour rights in general, and my mind went back to a place now called Deir el-Medina, known in ancient times as the Place of Truth or Set Ma'at. It sounds like a temple or monument of some kind, but Set Ma'at was a settlement. Its population were predominantly artisans and labourers, whose work for generations throughout the New Kingdom spawned the hidden but prestigious tombs of the Valley of Kings. And Ma'at doesn't simply translate as truth, it was a divine principle of rightness and justice. Ma'at was a concept that everyone, mortal, king, even God, ultimately had to conform to. At Set Ma'at, as it turned out, several pharaohs failed to do so, and the result was 2 recorded firsts in the history of labour rights. Times were tough for Egypt in the reign of Ramesses III. A long event known today as the Bronze Age collapse meant constant war for Egypt and the economic hardship that comes with it. Unfortunately, grain was in short supply, and grain, and its byproducts, were the currency that labourers and officials were paid in. The workers at Set Ma'at were not only skilled artisans and administrators, but enjoyed honour and privilege. A title common to the workers at Set Ma'at was Servant in the Place of Truth. They were literally working wonders. Without their toil, pharaohs and their families could not hope to survive their journey into the afterlife. Though let me pop to the sidelines to note, there may be such a thing as easier and harder jobs, but there are no unskilled labourers. Everyone has to develop behind-the-scenes skills like time management, patience, empathy, politeness, and a cool head under pressure. So remember that next time you expect perfection from the people who wait your table, or usher you to your theatre seats, or bag your groceries, or, if we're going there, see to your medical needs for a fraction of the pay of doctors. So when, somewhere between the 24th and 29th year of Ramesses III's reign, the grain stopped flowing to Set Ma'at, you can imagine how peeved the servants in the Place of Truth were. On a practical note, they were having to barter for their own food, which was expensive given the shortages. More esoterically, the pharaoh and his administrators were failing in a sacred duty to feed those who laboured in his name. The disgruntled workers got together and made demands of their higher-ups, and eventually they got what they demanded, not just because they petitioned the king, but because they withdrew their labour. The king was concerned about his eternal resting place, and of course with everything else going on, he could hardly afford to look weak or religiously lax in front of Egypt's nobility. The strike was actually off and on as promises were made and broken, but eventually the grain appears to have been secured. But there was another side effect of the strike. You see, the supervisors at Set Ma'at, rather than siding with their own workers and, may I remind you, neighbours, took the side of Pharaoh in mollifying and putting off the striking workers, manipulating them into getting back to work even though no food was yet on its way. And this led to another first in labour rights history, because this treachery on the part of their supervisors meant the workers decided they could no longer trust management, and so they elected their own representatives in case of future lapses. In other words, they unionised, not only coming together in a time of pay shortage, but coming together permanently in case of future problems. And future problems there would be. The New Kingdom's death was a slow one, and although Ramesses III's reign did see the beginnings of Egypt's recovery, times would be hard at Set Ma'at again, and further strike actions would be called for. People in modern times can be sceptical of unions, but by and large, whatever rights workers have, be they minimum wage, maximum working hours in a week, sick and holiday pay, paid national holidays, these rights are down to the pluck of workers generations past who committed to valuing their own time and work. If your workplace has a union and you aren't a member, I strongly encourage you to join, otherwise you risk stealing from your unionised colleagues. The power of a union is democracy in direct action, and it first manifested in a time and place where democracy itself was unimaginable. Let me put it this way, the workers of Set Ma'at stood up to Pharaoh. the son of Ra, the lord of the two lands, the rightful heir to the whole world. Their boss was a living god. Yours isn't, so what's your excuse? Thanks for watching, and solidarity, not only to UK academics standing up for their rights, but all workers everywhere who know that their work pays not only their own wages, but their boss's wages. Never let the bosses forget it. Oh no, did I make history political? History's never political, surely. Please do like and subscribe and show some solidarity in the comments. I have a feeling I might need it. Or, comment about how I'm wrong. It all tastes like algorithm. The international fraternity of comrades whose labour I benefit by are my backers at patreon.com/armchairegypt. Remember, Patreon might be a luxury, but weekly doses of Egyptology are surely a necessity. Until next time, my fellow armchair Egyptologists, life, prosperity and health to you all, and roses too. Thanks for watching. Head over to my channel for more, or click here to see what the YouTube demons think you should watch next. I hope you'll consider subscribing. If you'd like to support and collaborate on the channel with me, go to patreon.com/armchairegypt. You can also join my Discord community, there's an invite link in the description.